according to my source, is one of the most powerful sentences in Philippine entertainment media. It invites the audience into a secret while protecting the person who supplied it. It says that the information came from somewhere, even if that somewhere cannot be examined. In the hands of Ogie Diaz, the sentence has become more than a reporting device. It is part of a format, a relationship with viewers, and a business built on knowing before everyone else. The interesting question is not whether gossip is serious enough to study. Gossip has always carried information about our status, intimacy, and belonging. The real question is what changes when gossip adopts the speed, vocabulary, and authority of news. A breakup becomes a developing story. A blind item becomes evidence to be decoded. A private disagreement becomes content, response, counter-response, and reaction. The rumor no longer travels quietly between people. It enters an algorithm that rewards attention before certainty has time to arrive. Ogie Diaz stands at the center of this transformation because he belongs to both the old and new systems. He began in the entertainment press, learning writing, and interviewing as an assistant to columnist Christy Furman. He later worked across television, comedy, acting, and talent management. By 2023, PP described a digital operation built around YouTube channels and Facebook pages that was taking space once occupied almost entirely by mainstream entertainment programs. Diaz is not a random vlogger discovering celebrity gossip. He carries decades of relationships, memory, and access into a platform where the person with the scoop is also host, editor, publisher, distributor, and brand. The newsroom's functions have been compressed into a personality. That compression offers advantages. A creator can respond quickly, speak the audience's language, publish without a television schedule, and pursue stories a network considers too minor or risky. Subjects can answer through their own channels. The conversation feels immediate and democratic. But newsroom friction has a purpose. An editor tests the source. A producer seeks the other side. A lawyer notices defamatory implications. And a standards desk asks whether private information serves the public. These safeguards can fail, but they divide discovery from publication. When one personality performs every role, restraint must come from the person who benefits from uploading. The distinction between gossip and journalism is therefore not simply whether the information concerns celebrities. Entertainment reporting can uncover exploitation, unfair contracts, harassment, deception, and abuses hidden by powerful institutions. A celebrity's private life can also become relevant when it contradicts a public claim or affects another person's rights. The boundary is method, verification, context, fairness, proportionality, and accountability after publication. The Philippine Broadcast Code provides a useful standard even for creators outside traditional television. It says the credibility of news rests on its sources, that unnamed sources should be used carefully, and that confidential information should be corroborated before airing. Anonymity is not permission to lower the standard. It increases the reporter's burden because the audience cannot evaluate the source for itself. Show business sourcing makes that burden difficult. A source may be a friend, employee, relative, publicist, rival, or person with a financial interest. Proximity can produce accurate detail and bias together. The reporter must verify not only access, but motive. According to my source, can communicate uncertainty or function as a shield. Viewers may hear the rumor more clearly than the qualification. Headlines, thumbnails, and reposts remove careful wording. By the time the subject responds, many may remember only the accusation. One disclaimer cannot control the certainty created by repetition. Diaz's humor complicates this further. Jokes make the program conversational and reduce the distance between host and audience. The viewer does not feel lectured by an institution. The viewer feels included in a lively exchange among familiar personalities. This intimacy is one reason creator-led media can build trust that legacy outlets struggle to maintain. Yet humor also changes how harm is perceived. A damaging claim can feel lighter when surrounded by laughter, reaction faces, and playful language. The audience may treat the subject's humiliation as participation in the joke. Comedy does not erase factual responsibility. If anything, its ability to lower resistance gives the speaker more power, not less. The platform makes speed measurable. The first story receives views, recommendations, citations, and advertising revenue. Waiting for corroboration may let a competitor own the conversation, while a later correction rarely travels as far. The system rewards the moment when confidence is lowest and curiosity highest. This does not prove that every monetized story is dishonest. Traditional newspapers and television programs have always competed for audiences. The difference is visibility and concentration. On YouTube, the host can watch in real time as controversy becomes reach. The personality being trusted is also the product being sold. Editorial judgment and commercial performance appear on the same dashboard. Talent management adds another entanglement. A manager knows contracts, frustrations, career plans, and vulnerabilities. That knowledge can inform commentary while making independence difficult, especially with a former client or associate. Disclosure helps but does not remove the conflict. The audience must know how the host is connected to the subject. The public exchange between Diaz and his former talent, Liza Soberano, in 2023 exposed this collision of roles. After Soberano discussed her career and former management in interviews, Diaz answered through his own channel. He said their management contract had ended in 2022 and defended his account of their working relationship. A disagreement that might once have occurred through managers and lawyers became an unfolding media event in which personal history was also publishable material. That history did not end in permanent estrangement. GMA reported in January 2026 that Soberano and Diaz had reconnected after she answered his public birthday greeting. The later contact does not erase the earlier collision. It shows that a media conflict can outlive and then be overtaken by the human relationship from which it came. The point is not to decide here which person remembered every detail correctly. It is to notice the structure. Diaz was simultaneously a participant in the dispute, a source with first-hand knowledge, a commentator interpreting the dispute, and the publisher earning attention from it. None of those roles automatically makes his account false. Their combination makes transparency and restraint more necessary. In 2024, Bia Alonzo filed a cyber libel complaint against Diaz, Christy Fermin, their co-hosts, and another online personality. Her complaint alleged that false and damaging information had been discussed on their programs without basis. Diaz and his co-hosts filed counter-affidavits, and their lawyer invoked fair comment in presenting their defense. A complaint is not a conviction, and the allegations should not be treated as findings of guilt. The case nevertheless reveals that digital gossip is not consequence-free conversation. A video can affect reputation, relationships, employment, and mental well-being long after the algorithm stops recommending it. The creator may remember an episode as one upload among hundreds. The person named in it may live with the search results indefinitely. Accountability cannot mean that every offended celebrity controls coverage. Powerful figures often describe accurate criticism as unfair. Requiring permission before reporting would turn publicity teams into editors. The answer is not silence. It is a process strong enough to distinguish an uncomfortable fact from an attractive rumor. For a personality-led newsroom, that process has to become visible. How many independent sources confirmed the claim? Was the subject contacted before publication? What part is verified fact? What part is inference? And what part remains rumor? Does the audience receive the correction with the same prominence as the original? Is a manager-client relationship or commercial connection disclosed? These questions do not make a program less entertaining. They make its authority easier to evaluate. The audience carries responsibility too. Viewers reward certainty, conflict, and speed, then blame the creator when those incentives produce error. Every click teaches the platform what should be repeated. Media literacy is not merely the ability to identify fake news after it appears. It is the discipline to tolerate not knowing, to wait for a response, and to resist turning another person's uncertainty into recreation. Ogie Diaz represents a future in which the boundary between reporter and influencer will continue to weaken. His success shows that audiences value accessibility, humor, memory, and insider knowledge. Those qualities can enrich journalism. They cannot replace its obligations. The source will always matter, but may source ako should be the beginning of responsibility, not the end of proof. The deeper measure of a media figure is not how often the secret turns out to be true. It is what happens during the dangerous distance between hearing and knowing, whether speed yields to verification, access yields to fairness, and the person behind the story remains human after the views have been counted.